Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Balamba Giribaladhari Gopijana Balamba Giribaladhari Gopijana Balamba Yashodanandana Vrajacharya, studies to see Srimad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki, ISKCON's founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Shri Shri Radhalandan Ishwara ki, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi ki, Shri Giri Govardhan ki, Shri Shri Gaunitai ki, Sankirtan Yagya ki, Go Premanande. All glories to their summer devotees. All glories to their summer devotees. All glories to their assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Just one question, Prabhu. Ek Prashna. When will you be ready, do you think? Roughly.
I think
half an hour?
Yes, in half an hour.
Okay, that's fine. Carry on. Thank you.
But I'll try not to disturb the class at the same time.
Thank you, I'm sure. Yeah. Devotees, we are reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 11, Lord Krishna's entrance into Dwaraka. And today we're reading verse 26. And, oh, it's here. No, it's not here. What do we do? Do I just read it? What should I do?
Stop now because you see from the show the projector, the light goes into it. So we thought you can just read it out, people can have it on the phones.
I'll just, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Check your phones, everyone. It's the modern way of doing it. Shriyo Nivaso Yasyora Pana Patram Mukham Drisham Bahavo Loka Halana Sarangana Padambuja Shriyo Nivaso Yasyora Panapatram Mukham Drisham Bahavo Lokapalanam Saranganam Padambujam Shriyo Nivaso Yasyora Panapatram Mukham Drisham Bahavo Lokapalanam Saranganam Padambujam
Shriyo Nivaso Yasyora Panapatram Mukham Drisham Bahavo Lokapalanam Saranganam Padambujam Padambujam Sriyonivasaya Shorya Panapatram Mukam Drisham Bahavo Lokapalanam Saranganam Padambujam
Mataji's.
Sriyonivasaya Shura
Panapatram Mukam Drisham
Bahavo
Lokapalanam
Saranganam Padambujam
Sriyonivasaya
Shura Panapatram Mukam Drisham Saranganam Padambujam
Shriya of the goddess of fortune. Nivasa, residential place. Yasya, one whose. Ura, chest. Panapatra, the drinking pot. Mukham, face. Drisha, of eyes. Bahava, the arms. Lokapalana, of the administrative demigods. Sarangana, of the devotees who talk and sing. Of the essence or substance. Pada Ambujam, the lotus feet. Translation. The Lord's chest is the abode of the goddess of fortune. His moon-like face is the drinking vessel for eyes which hanker after all that is beautiful. His arms are the resting places for the administrative demigods, and his lotus feet are the refuge of pure devotees who never talk or sing of any subject except his lordship. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, and it is fairly extensive purport anyway. Just please listen carefully. It's actually really, a lot of it's very beautiful. So Srila Prabhupada says, there are different classes of human beings, all seeking different enjoyments from different objects. There are persons who are seeking after the favor of the goddess of fortune, and for them, the Vedic literatures give information that the Lord is always served with all reverence by thousands and thousands of goddesses of fortune at the Chintamani Dham, the transcendental abode of the Lord, where the trees are all desired trees and the buildings are made of touchstone. The Lord Govinda is engaged there in herding the Surabhi cows as his natural occupation. These goddesses of fortune can be seen automatically if we're attracted by the bodily features of the Lord. The impersonalists cannot observe such goddesses of fortune because of their dry, speculative habit. And those who are artists, overtaken by the beautiful creation, should better see to the beautiful face of the Lord for complete satisfaction. The face of the Lord is the embodiment of beauty. What they call beautiful nature is but his smile. And what they call the sweet songs of the birds but specimens of the whispering voice of the Lord. There are administrative demigods in charge of departmental service and cosmic management, and there are tiny administrative gods in the state service. They're always afraid of other competitors, but if they take shelter of the arms of the Lord can protect them always from the attacks of enemies. A faithful servant of the Lord, engaged in the service of administration, is the ideal executive head and can well protect the interest of the people in general. Other so-called administrators are symbols of anachronisms, leading to the acute distress of the people who are governed by them. Anachronisms basically means like very old-fashioned ways of doing things, really out of date and very ineffective, that sort of thing. The administrators can remain safely under the protection of the arms of the Lord. The essence of everything is the Supreme Lord. He is called the Sarang, and those who sing and talk about him are called the Sarangas, or the pure devotees. The pure devotees are always hankering after the lotus feet of the Lord. The lotus has a kind of honey which is transcendently relished by the devotees. They're like the bees who are always after the honey. Srila Rupa Goswami, the great devotee Acharya of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, has sung a song about this lotus honey, comparing himself to the bee. So he sings, "O my Lord Krishna, I beg to offer my prayers unto you. My mind is like the bee, and it is after some honey. Kindly therefore give my bee mind a place at your lotus feet, which are the resources for all transcendental honey. I know that even big demigods like Brahma do not see the rays of the nails of your lotus feet, even though they're engaged in deep meditation for years together. Still, O infallible one, my ambition is such, for you are very merciful to your surrendered devotees. O Madhava, I know also that I have no genuine devotion for the service of your lotus feet. But because your Lordship is inconceivably powerful, you can do what is impossible to be done. Your lotus feet can deride even the nectar of the heavenly kingdom, and therefore I'm very much attracted by them. O Supreme Eternal, please, therefore, let my mind be fixed at your lotus feet, so that eternally I may be able to relish the taste of your transcendental service." Unquote. The devotees are satisfied with being placed at the lotus feet of the Lord and have no ambition to see his all-beautiful face or aspire for the protection of the strong arms of the Lord. They are humble by nature, and the Lord is always leaning towards such humble devotees. Shriyogivaso yasyo ra panapatra mukam disham bahavo lokapalanam saranganam padam. The Lord's chest is the abode of the goddess of fortune. His moon-like face is the drinking vessel for eyes which hanker after all that is beautiful. His arms are the resting places for the administrative demigods, and his lotus feet are the refuge of pure devotees who never talk or sing of any subject except his lordship. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachayane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschitya Deshatayane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakapatrulabhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha. Palitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. We offer our respects to all the devotees. So this is really just extremely beautiful. So it's part of this chapter in which Lord Krishna, very shortly after the battle of Kurukshetra, and after having bade farewell by Maharaj Yudhisthira, who's now king of the world, and the other Pandava brothers, and everyone there in Hastinapur, now he's travelled down to Gujarat, on the coast down there, and in Gujarat, and now he's arriving there in Dwarka. And of course, just like when Krishna left Hastinapur, the devotees, the local residents, they offered similar prayers, and their feelings were at least similar. Very, very beautiful. So here, the residents of Dwarka, actually they are more advanced, really, than the residents of Hastinapur. Even though the residents of Hastinapur, we should not sort of underestimate them. They're, a number of times greater devotees than any of us residents of London. Sure. They're in another realm of Krishna consciousness altogether. Anyway, you're all nice devotees. I know you're all trying your best, but still, here we're talking about something else. The personal associates of Lord Krishna. Shri Radhanandan Ishra, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi, Shri Giri Govardhan, Shri Gauritai Ki Jai. Right. We were just reading, actually, a few days ago, in fact, what was it? It was Sunday morning, just past. We were in, would you believe, of all places, Tallinn, Estonia. Not many of you have been there. Well, we have a nice temple there. Temple room is bigger than this, actually. Yeah, it is. It's definitely somewhat bigger. Anyway, there we were reading from, what was it? It was the 9th chapter, the passing away of BCAIS. And there it was described, the verse we read on Sunday, it described how, when, after the battle of Kurukshetra, Maharaj Yudhisthira did a Rajasuya sacrifice so he could really be established as the emperor, like fully, and accepted by the other kings. So it was described there that when they started the Rajasuya, Lord Krishna was elected or appointed as, it's something like the president, or anyway, you could say the president, of the actual yajna, the actual fire sacrifice. Not that he does the fire sacrifice, there's a whole team of Brahmins. Prabhuji is following in their footsteps here. And so they were organizing the actual yajna. But there's this practice, Vedic practice, that in the big yajnas, the most important person amongst the assembled people would be appointed as something like the president overseeing. It's sort of a ceremonial position more than anything. You don't really do much, if anything. But it's like a position of honor and respect and recognition for the most important, significant person there. So Lord Krishna was appointed, accepted. It was actually Sahadev who suggested, we must choose Lord Krishna. Everyone else just was all for it, except for one person, of course. Shishupal. Anyway, we don't really have time to get into it here. It's a bit of a story, but so Lord Krishna was appointed, and there's a picture in one of the earlier first cantos. I don't know if it's still in the first canto, of Lord Krishna sitting in this elevated seat, and loads and just thousands of people around, and in front of him and just a little forward, there are the Brahmins doing the sacrifice. So when Krishna then went and sat in that elevated seat, then many of the people who had assembled on the invitation of Maharaj Yudhisthira, because it's like the occasion of at least the decade for everyone. So all these people, like all the royalty, all the Brahmins, they were all assembled from all over, just all over the world. And many of them had not, of course they'd heard of Krishna, they knew who is Krishna, and they had read or heard descriptions like what we just read just now. So they had some little picture in their minds that how Lord Krishna is so special and so beautiful and just the most extremely, uniquely beautiful of all. So therefore, when Lord Krishna went and sat up there and everyone around could see him clearly, those people, because Lord Krishna he did not move like very extensively. He was in Vrindavan, then he was in Mathura, then he was in Dwaraka, and he moved around a little bit, but not much. Like he went from Hastinapur to Dwaraka, but he didn't travel all over. So many of these people had not actually seen him. They just had some idea from hearing. But when they saw him, the description, actually it's Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the description in his purport on that particular verse, I forget the number, but it's in chapter 9 of the first canto. Some of them who had not seen him before, and now they saw him, the experience for them was just so incredible. Just such an experience of the ultimate beauty that they sort of lost control. And they're just calling out, oh, what beauty! This is incredible. They just couldn't stop themselves. Many of them were fainting on the spot, because this sort of standard of beauty we don't have experience of. I mean, you're all devotees, you're all very beautiful, and you're very nice, but not that nice. I mean, not that beautiful, shall we say at least. People would faint when they saw Krishna. I don't know if anybody fainted when they saw you. Anyone faint? Just one time? One person? No?
Out of fear.
Huh? Out of horror. Yes, anyway. So, yeah. So Krishna's beauty is just so outstanding. Prabhupada here in the purport mentions, he's kind of referring to, I mean, arguably at least, Brahma Samhita verse, what is it? Is it 56 or 55? You know the one. Shriya Kanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kalpatarava. That verse. Yeah, long verse. Which describes Goloka. It describes Goloka. It doesn't so much describe Lord Krishna really in detail, but it does describe Goloka a bit. That there the Lord is being served by so many Lakshmis, and the trees are all desire trees, buildings are made of touchstone, and Lord Brahma says there that all the water is like nectar, and every step is a dance, and every word is a song. In Goloka Vrindavan, Srila Jiva Goswami intimates a little bit in his commentary on Brahma Samhita. He says, he raises the point that if in Goloka all the water, the ordinary water, tastes like nectar, ordinary water, I don't know what brand, but it's Maha water. Okay, that's nice. But, it's still, at least to a mundane creature like myself, it just tastes like water. But there, all the ordinary water tastes like nectar. So I don't know who is the best cook here in ISKCON London. I remember back in the old days when we were in Berry Place, what on earth, we had such incredible Sunday feasts. It was amazing. Mother Balagopal, if you know her, the wife of Dhananjaya Prabhu, and various others, a number of others, some of whom had been trained to some degree in cooking by Prabhupada. Gee whiz, it was pretty astonishing actually, the Sunday feasts. So I don't know, who is the best cook here, would you say? Who? Oh. What is your name, Prabhu?
Lutaurus.
Huh?
Lutaurus.
Lotara.
Lutaurus.
He's Lithuanian.
Oh, Lithuania. Abbas Ritas. Okay. Cooks, anyway, look. Okay, all right. So he's the best cook. Great. So when he makes a nectar drink, you know how to make a nectar drink, right?
Not really.
Cream and honey and cream and more honey, more cream. When Prabhupada was here, not here means, I think in the manor one time, they made halava for Prabhupada with clotted cream. You know what is clotted cream? It's not high power stuff. And Prabhupada took one mouthful, and Prabhupada said, "What is the secret weapon behind this halava?" So anyway, a nectar drink. Yeah. Fortune, because
Varuni.
Oh, Varuni. Yeah, you could say. It's possible. There are Varunis and there are Varuni. It's not so simple. It's just to say Varuni. But anyway, yeah, so Prabhuji can make amazing nectar drink and everyone thinks, wow, I want more. But in Goloka Vrindavan, such a nectar drink, the water tastes like that nectar drink. So Srila Jiva Goswami raises the point, he says, if in Goloka Vrindavan the water, the ordinary water, tastes like the best nectar drink that we're familiar with, he says, so then what are their nectar drinks like? If their ordinary water is like our best nectar drink. Then in Goloka every step is a dance. And I'm not sure, we've got some good dancers here. Who's the best dancer, would you say? Oh, Harinama Prabhu. Okay. Yeah, so when he's dancing his best, and he's just flying practically, it's like they're ordinary walking in Goloka Vrindavan when they're just walking down the road. Just, life is going on. Yeah, so Jiva Goswami says, if their ordinary walking is like our best dancing, what is it like when they dance? And he says, we have no experience of that. Yeah. And then what is the other one? The talk. Every word is a song. Who is the best singer here in ISKCON London? Dalwara Prabhu. Oh, that's good. That's nice. So when he is just singing like the nightingale of Soho Street, Soho Square, what is it, WC1 or something, then, and everyone's just floating in ecstasy. That's like their ordinary talking. When they just say, hi, how are you doing? All right, how are you doing? Small talk. Prabhupada once, a reporter asked Prabhupada, I don't think here, anyway, somewhere, a reporter asked Prabhupada, first of all, trying to be pleasant, said, oh, how are you? And Prabhupada said, what difference would it make to you how I am? And you can look it up, it's somewhere in the database. Yeah, and Prabhupada said something to the effect that, if I was dying, what difference would it make to you? Anyway, yeah. Yeah, because it's interesting, in some countries, it's not done. You don't ask people how they are. Yeah, you don't. In Russia, particularly in Russia, it's not common that you ask people how they are. I remember going there and asking someone, how are you? Because it's just, a normal pleasantry. And he looked at me like, what? And then he gave me a description of how he was. He didn't just do the normal, like, fine, how are you? He actually told me how he was. Well, even in India, it's not that common. Or like in India, to say please, it's not so common. Yeah. Or thank you even, but please is not so common. So, okay, there we are. Where were we? Oh, yeah. So every word there is like a song. Dayal Mora Prabhu, when he is just, it's just a kirtan of the year. That's like the ordinary, like, how you doing? So Jiva Goswami, as you can imagine, says that what is it like then when they sing? And he says, actually we have no experience of these things. We have no experience of these things. And he says then that therefore very few people want to go there. Because it's like a big enigma, a big question mark, and you just can't penetrate it. Yeah. Goloka Vrindavan. So, but when Krishna was here, well, there's a nice description in, what now? Oh, Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Yes, in our Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Lord Krishna is in Dwaraka, but he is missing Vrindavan. He is just, missing Vrindavan too much. And he's become sort of like quite dysfunctional, can't get up in the morning. So Narada Muni, in order to encourage him, Narada Muni arranges a drama of Vrindavan, of Krishna in Vrindavan. And he gets all the best actors and actresses in the universe. These are Gandharvas. One of the specialties of Gandharvas is their acting, their ability to act. And he, because, he knows Krishna, he knows Radharani, so he was able to train the actors and actresses to act just practically like Krishna and Radharani. And then they put on the drama in Dwaraka, and Krishna came, and Uddhava, his minister, was with him, and all the Dwarka Vasis were there. And the drama started, and Krishna, first thing, Krishna comes on the stage. And Krishna means Krishna. In the audience sees Krishna on the stage, who is looking and acting just like him. And Krishna grabs Uddhava and says, Uddhava, is that me or am I me? He just, it becomes too much for him. And then after a little while, just after, momentarily, as Krishna is acting so nicely, suddenly Krishna jumps up and runs forward to embrace him. Because he's just so beautiful. Krishna is so beautiful that he is attracted to himself. So anyway, these types of things are being described here. It's very nice. And interesting, just one final interesting little point. Prabhupada makes this point, and it's a very important point, that the devotees, they're attracted by Krishna's lotus feet. And they don't actually feel like, I'd like to look at it. If his feet look like this nice, what does his face look like? I want to look at his face. They don't even really bother in many cases looking at Krishna's face, because his feet are just so completely, overpoweringly, incredibly beautiful, way beyond satisfying to look at, just totally overwhelming. So they're happy, just let us look at his feet. And that's much more than enough for us. It's just the greatest mercy that we can look at his feet. So Prabhupada says here, they have no ambition to see his all-beautiful face. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Jai. Sorry, got carried away, didn't realize we were there. It's all right, I guess. Prabhuji, आपका नाम क्या है?
Shyam Das.
Shyam Das. Okay. Very well. Okay, so we can begin, right?
Yes.
We're ready to begin. So, devotees, now we're beginning our initiation ceremony. And we have at least one Mataji who's got to sit by, where should she sit actually? Opposite you.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
right. So you're going to have to move back a bit, I'm afraid. And I understood, I heard there were one or two others who will be sitting in. They missed, they haven't had a fire.